Okay, hey guys, Anime West Reacts here. It's gonna be a review for Owari no Seraph, chapter 95, and this chapter is titled A Demon's Tale. So we got Demon Mika on the cover, looking pretty nice. So start the chapter off with someone walking down a path. They're saying demon, 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 and then we see that it is newly made Demon Mika, and he's thinking the world is so bright, and then he's thirsty. And he's like, I'm thirsty, so thirsty. I have to hurry, find a human I can possess. Yes, that's right. I must possess, or I must find a human and devour their desire. Because I'm a demon. Then we go to a rundown building where Yoichi is carrying Cruel. And he's thinking, so this is the vampire queen, huh? He's like looking at her and he's just thinking, she's sound asleep. She looks like she's just out cold, a pretty little girl, like unconscious. She just looks like a pretty little girl, basically. So he leaves the room that she's in, sees Mitsuba and Noah, and they're like laughing or talking to each other pretty much. You and Kimazuki are talking to each other. You is saying, and then Gurren was all blah, and Miko was all drum or da-da. And then he's like, and I was all, yeah, but she was like, no, I'll be okay. Oh yeah, believe it, believe it or not, the one who said that was Usher Mar's little sister, and Kimazuki's just like sitting here listening to him. And he's like, yeah, I have no idea what you're saying, pretty much. You're like, no clue what you're talking about. How dumb are you? Start from the beginning. And then he's like, what? How could you not get that? Kimazuki says, because you're talking toddler gibberish. Speak normally. And then he says, I did. You're just too dense to understand. Kimazuki's like, excuse me. And then he says, what, you? Or, yeah. What, you want to start something? And then they go outside. Because Kimazuki's like, okay, step outside a minute. And he's like, yeah. And then Yoichi's just thinking or saying, how come you two are actually going outside? And then he looks over at Mitsuba and Shinoa and he says, anyway, did either of you get anything from what Yuichiro said? And Shinoa says, Yoichi, aren't you? You aren't going to believe it. It's amazing. And then he's like, oh wow, so you did get something. What is it? Can you tell me? And they're like, believe it or not, there's actually soda inside of this fridge. And they're like, believe it or not, there's actually soda inside this fridge, and not just a can or two, lots of them. And then that takes him aback, and he's like, what? What about what Yuichiro said? And they're just like, oh, I wasn't paying attention, drinks is more important. And then, I guess, like, one of them says that, and then the other says, exactly, we haven't had much rain lately, Yoichi, now that we've left the demon territory. Finding potable liquids is important. And then Yoichi's just says, or one of those two says, still, old canned soda can be terribly gross. Old sports drinks, those are still passable at least. But old soda, no. And then, or someone says, right, then soda starts tasting like the can, and then they just start chugging it. And they're just like, ah. And then tosses one to Yoichi, or Mitsuba tosses one to Yoichi and tells him to drink up. And he says, come on, you two. I don't think we have time for this. And then Shinoa says, but it isn't as if there's anything we can rush off to do now. And then he's thinking, oh, right. Oh, yeah, she has a point. Not with Lieutenant Colonel Gurren and the Demon Army the way they are now. Not only that, and then he thinks back over to Cruel. And he's thinking, Box says, the Vampire Queen Yoichiro swears that she's totally our friend now, but she's out cold, showing no signs of waking up. We can't decide anything about her yet. still, I don't think we have time to be fighting, because, yeah, that's what I almost said Gurren, but Yuichiro and Kimizuki are outside about to fight, and he's looking at Mirai, and then he says her name, and then says, "Thank goodness there's no sign of deterioration, even without regeneration. Maybe above all the experiments she went through, or because of all the experiments she went through, she's like inside of like a box. It looks like, or maybe like a cooled fridge or something, because she's kind of just looks like she's asleep or something. But yeah, like she's still a body. She didn't turn into one of those like dagger things." And then Kimitsuki tells her, "Don't worry, I'll have you better in no time, I promise." And then he shuts it and says, "Let's do this." And then Yu says, "Right." And then we go back to Yoichi, and he's like, "Oh, geez, they really did start fighting. Are you sure we shouldn't stop them, Shinoa?" And then he looks at Shinoa and Mitsuba, and they're kind of like weird looking, and he's just like, "Uh-oh." Shinoa then says, "Well, ain't they a bunch of hot hotheads, still boys? They always have to get into fights to see who's stronger." Shinoa's like, or Mitsuba says, "Yeah, so dumb, us girls. Us girls, though, we decide who's better by bust size." And then you got this, like, panel of just, looking at her. It's like, "That's it. You, me, we need to talk." And Mitsuba's like, "Why? You don't have a bust line to speak of." And Koichi's just kind of lost. And Shinoa immediately jumps on top of Mitsuba, says, "You're dead. I'm gonna grope those boobs into oblivion." And then Mitsuba's like, "Yeah, heck, quit it." And then she's just like in a corner, kind of like shaking her, listening to it. And it's like, why are you two so bright red in the face?" And then he looks at the can, realizes that it's actually alcoholic, is what they've been drinking. He got Mitsuba on the ground saying, "No gropies, no gropies, stop." And Shinoa's like, rooms goes round and round," because she's like, they're drunk, they're kind of out of it. And then he's like, "Aren't we in a critical emergency right now?" Yoichi's the one with like the calm headedness, and everyone else is like being kind of weird. But he says, "Though it is kind of nice to see everyone happy." And so he looks out at you and Kimizuki's fight, and he says, "Maybe I'll drink too." So we go out to the fight, and Mizuki's thinking, "Holy crap, he's stupidly fast," because Yu has gotten way stronger since they've last sparred, most likely. Because of everything Yu's been through, he's like way stronger now. So Kimizuki gets knocked back. He's like, charges forward, says, "Whoa, not," or Yu says, "Whoa, not bad," as he like knocks this stuff away. Or he like slashes, and it seems like the block or something. Could you see like the tot 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 type thing? They're like where their swords would be hitting each other. Kimizuki is thinking he's not like he was before. He's better, stronger. How we both have black demons. And then Kimizuki's like, "Jerk, you're going easy on me, aren't you?" And then Yu's just kind of like, "Huh, what, me? Nah, never." And then that just infuriates him. And he's like, "You bastard, quit insulting me. I'm not so weak I need you to coddle me." And then Yu seems like he's like taken aback by that. And then Kimizuki's like thinking, "That's right, I'm not weak. I can't afford to let myself be weak. Not when my sister is." Then Yu says, "Sorry, I was wrong. I'll be serious now." And then Kimizuki like charges in. Yu lashes at him. And then Kimizuki says, "Just one hit. Or one hit, just one, and he almost KO'd me." And then he says, "No, I'm not out of the fight yet." Attacks again, gets absolutely destroyed. And then he's just thinking, "Why? How am I this weak? This pathetic?" And then you have him like fall to the ground, gripping his sword. And he yells, no, or no, I will save my sister. I can't afford to lose. And then we go to his demon, Sekio, and then he's like, just like humming pretty much. And then you have Kimizuki and saying hi again, or Kisekio says hi again. Shiho Kimizuki, I saw you were just as pathetic as always. And then Kisekio says, keep screaming that you're going to save your sister. You keep begging me to give you more power, but it's always just for show. You aren't desperate enough. You aren't nearly as insane as him. That's why you're weaker than him. And then Kisekio tells him to admit it. And it says, admit it deep in your heart. You've given up on your sister. Accept it. All you really want is a peaceful life, to hang out with friends and mess around and have fun. And what's wrong with that? It's a nice dream. And then Kisekio says, what? No protest this time? Well, that's dull. And then see, like, Kimizuki's like handshaking as Kisekio says, or what? You've been rendered speechless by your own inadequacy. And she's like, hands like trembling. And he says, or Kimizuki says, it happened again. I was too weak. I let them kill my sister while I just watched. And Kisekio's like, yeah, you did. I saw that too. And he's like, you're right. I'm just running away compared to you and the colonel, or the lieutenant colonel. All I'm doing is justifying excuses not to try. And Kisekio says, I wouldn't say that's all bad though, and since Kisekio's been watching him, says, I've watched you observing from inside you this whole time. Yeah. You're a very rational person. You care a lot about your friends. You always try to be the one adult in the room helping everyone else, but because of that, you lose sight of your own desires. Then he asks, then what is it I desire? You have to figure that one out. Am I weak? Yeah. And he says, am I weaker because I haven't? Sakio says, don't ask me. And then you have Kimizuki to say, I want to keep everyone safe. Is that not enough? I don't need the... Or Kisekio says, I don't need the thoughts of a rational adult. Let me hear your soul. Forget your sister. Forget your friends. I want your selfish, childish, ugly desire. I want to hear your voice. And then Kimizuki just breaks down crying and says, I'm sick of it. I want to win. I can't stand you showing me up all the time. And then Sekio laughs and says, there, see, you can do it. That's the first time you've really opened your heart to me. The walls your logic put up are finally coming down. And Kisekio says, now I can give you power. Forget your sisters and your friends. Ditch your responsibilities. Tell me what you want. Or tell me what you want more and I'll give it to you. And you see like his demon horns pop up out of his head. The dark like stuff starts like spreading all over his face, and then he's just like, And then Kimizuki says, two coffins appear around you, and he's like trying to block them. He's like, wow, ooh. And he says, whoa, now you got way stronger in the fight. Or real fight or will. You got way stronger something fight. How'd you do that? And then says, I took a page from your book and tried being dumb for once. And then he's like, hey, I'm not dumb. And he's like, you are dumb. Still more powerful than me though. Or me though, for now, just you wait. I'll outstrip you soon. Then he's like, great. Let's keep training together and get stronger. The stronger your friends, the better, right? And Kimizuki doesn't really respond. Then we cut over to Cruel waking up. Yeah. Or he doesn't respond to you because of the whole thing about abandoning his friends is what making him stronger. Or abandoning all his responsibilities. And then, yeah. And Krill wakes up thinking, desire, huh? My desire and mine alone. Or that's what Kimazuki might be saying or thinking. So Krill wakes up and she runs out of the room saying, brother, and it's like, what is this? You got like someone in the wall. Or Yoichi like barfing, I guess, in the wall. And then Krill is just like, what is this? She looks over, sees Shinoa and Mitsuba are like on the ground. And then they're just like, oh. They spot Krill, and then they just jump her pretty much. And Shinoa's saying, it looks like a new challenger has arrived. And so yeah, they just attack Krill pretty much. And then we cut over to Kisekio, sitting by his coffin thing. And then he looks over, sees Ashimaru, says, hey there, have your memories finally come back too? And then chapter ends off with Kisekio saying, it seems like the king is finally awakened to Ashimaru. But yeah, overall, pretty good chapter. Hope y'all enjoy the reaction or review, whatever you want to call this. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment on the video, subscribe for more anime reaction reviews and manga reviews. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. So yeah, later.